Emil, I'm going to read now a short piece, and it would be lovely in the edit if you could just add in some coughing and sneezes and, you know, like hospital sounds and stuff like that to make it sound a bit scary. That would be very nice. As the whispers of a new virus spread, uncertainty gripped the world. Hospital became battlegrounds, streets fell silent, and fear spread like wildfire. In the midst of chaos, a silver lining emerged, a digital awakening. Faced with lockdowns and social distancing, businesses turned to virtual platforms, and suddenly, faces once hidden behind desks were thrust onto screens. Meetings, conferences, and even interviews became virtual affairs as companies raced to adapt to the new normal. Hi, and welcome to the Presenter Mastery Podcast. I'm Lucas, CEO of Headgain and amateur speaker.
Yo, I am David J.P. Phillips, expert speaker.
And together, we're your weekly guides to unlocking the power of presentation skills. And we wanted to open up this podcast today in a little bit of a different way, just to dive into a big topic that's become so big now due to what happened. The coronavirus hit the world, and everyone was just pushed onto the digital arena. We are now in digital meetings everywhere you look. I have it with my kids in school for their soccer football team. We do Teams meetings. I do sales meetings, meeting with clients, friends. We even did call up my grandparents over Skype or through FaceTime. You just constantly interact over camera. But in business settings, this is also something that is very hard for people. We see it when they come into Presenter Mastery that one of the biggest fears is presenting in front of camera. Now, inside the program, you actually have to record yourself, share videos of yourself, and it's scary for people. So we wanted to do an episode on confidence in front of the camera, just to give you the tips and ideas on how to master this and make it just not the big problem that people are experiencing from it. So remembering back, beginning of COVID, I started in this company, I think it was 1 month before COVID hit. And we had to just quickly adapt into doing things digital. We had a big launch. We had 800 people booked for a live in-person event, switched that over to doing digital. I wanted to check in with you, David. I know we've done a lot of digital since, but how was that transition into doing digital for you personally? You went from being this world touring public speaker to having to just stand in front of the camera. How was that transition for you?
Well, I'd say that, when we did the PewDiePie video, was that before COVID, wasn't it?
After.
It was after COVID. Yeah. Or during, perhaps.
But yeah, during. So okay. Salesforce was actually, I think that was just when it started. It hadn't broken out in Sweden, but you did the theater broadcast for Salesforce just at the beginning of the breakout.
Yep. All right. So yes. So I'd say it starts with PewDiePie then, because my son Anton, he came up with the idea of doing a reaction video on PewDiePie in order to kind of boost my social media. I hadn't actually done any social media before that, like truly random posts on LinkedIn and Instagram. How long is this now? 4 years?
Yeah, 4 years. So 2020 in March, we
had
locked down.
No social media existence before that. So we do this reaction video on PewDiePie, and I think I'm quite okay with that. I remember that I was okay doing these reaction videos. We did a couple on KSI, PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye. We did it on Steve Jobs. We did it on Elon Musk. And if you haven't seen these are these are like from the golden era of our social media. So do look at them at our YouTube channel. Anyhow, the problem arises when PewDiePie reacts to me, which was just insane. He was then, because this is before the Mr. Beast era, the biggest YouTuber in the world. And he's Swedish, and he makes this entire like 16-minute video, I think it was 18-minute video about me and him, and I am reacting on him, and that just took my YouTube channel from like 2K to 200K. It was madness. But what struck me then was that I got performance anxiety after that, because I didn't really know what I did, and he was so much better, and who should I be? I got so lost, man. I got so lost in this idea of being in front of a camera. I was great on stage. I'd always like progressed on stage, but that bit really got me. And I think I needed like an entire year to finally like understand the most simple thing. And I can't be PewDiePie, I can't be Jacksepticeye, I can't be KSI, I can't be any of these mad big YouTubers. I can just be myself. And if that isn't enough, it doesn't matter. You can't be anybody else. You can't, because if you pretend to be somebody else, which I tried to do for like 6 months with super high energy in my YouTubes. I do have high energy, but that was like insane. That was YouTube level energy. I just felt fake after a while, and there was this discrepancy between who I was and who I should be. So yeah, my first lesson was simply that be yourself. Was key in regards to this. That's where it all began. And then we started recording a lot of videos for online material, and I think that went well as well. But again, I was quite stiff. I wasn't very relaxed because I didn't really know how to act, I think.
Mm-hmm. Had you done a lot of recordings before going into YouTube? I know you had some of like the first iterations of the 110 steps. You did speaker training and these things. So you had some materials, but I guess mostly you were on stage.
Yeah.
And just camera presence was something else, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. I'm thinking through my breakthrough in front of a camera. Of course, it always comes down to the more you expose yourself to something, the more used you get to it. It's like anything that you fear. If you fear snakes and you expose yourself to snakes to like a small level and a large level and so on, and you will become accustomed to snakes. And the same thing with cameras. But for me, it was actually this weird focus question that I had. Like focus questions, it's a part of psychology. They steer what you, let's say, they define what you feel, because what you focus on is what you feel. So I had a focus question, which was, how can I avoid being different? Like how can I be similar to others? And I think when I do presentations and keynotes and coaching, I think 8 out of 10 have that exact thing. They ask themselves, how can I be similar to that person? I can be similar to that person. And I realized I had this focus question, and it was really holding me back in life in general. Like, because if you have that focus question in you, you're allowing others to dictate how you behave for the rest of your life. So this was something I bypassed or hacked by figuring out a new focus question, which was, how can I inspire others? And I started using that in my everyday life, and it allowed myself to come alive because I wasn't as dictated anymore by others. So I just kept on every time that old focus question surfaced, how can I be similar to others? I rewrote it and I just like repeated the other one. How can I inspire others? I think that was actually one of the biggest breakthroughs in front of the camera, because then I started dancing. I started like moving in my own patterns, behaving as I wished. We got the smoke machine, we got the disco lights, we got the music. I think that was a big part of it. Our focus questions aren't optimal. Yeah, so I think that's something that's holding people back. Have fun instead of perform. Yeah. And then, well, there's so many answers to this question, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I know my personal experience with camera is when I was a kid, I was always doing these funny faces.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know why. I can't remember why, but I remember distinctly that my mother was always, can you just smile on the camera? And back then you had this film, right?
Yeah.
You didn't have endless digital space to take photos. So you had like, can we do it one proper photo, please? Because it's only like 2 pictures left in the roll. But it was like that. So there are not a lot of pictures of me as a kid where I'm just being myself. And then growing up, I always had that in the back of my head, and I tried when a camera came. I was like, okay, I'll just be myself. You know, I'll just look like I don't even see that camera. I know you're there, but I'm gonna try and just keep on doing the thing I'm doing. But I was always the feedback I got consistently was, why are you so stiff? Why are you so? Whatever it was, and that was hard. It's for me, I overanalyze a lot, and I could never figure out how to just be. You know, you try to be yourself, right? But it's how.
Yeah.
Suddenly, just because of the presence of a camera, it's like I forget who I am in one way, because it's now not possible to just relax and have a casual conversation, because I'm aware of this other thing, this entity that's recording me. This is going to be there forever. I think kids growing up today have it differently.
Probably
because they just watch YouTube, they TikTok if allowed, they do all these things. The camera is just omnipresent. And as said, I mean, with my kids, what we realized was they didn't have the best relationship to their grandfathers and grandmothers because they didn't meet them enough. We were living in separate cities, so we did Skype calls or FaceTime calls to just keep on getting them to see each other. And then it was an immediate reaction when they actually met. It was there was no 1 to 2 hours being shy, hiding in a corner and then warming up. It was just straight into games and having fun. So the camera is good. I had my breakthrough for myself was when you were away and we really needed to have ads go out for the WoW course that we were doing. So I just told Marcus, you know what? Okay, David is not here for another 2 weeks. It's impossible. We need 3 ads to go out tomorrow, basically. So I just stood up and said, I'll do it. Never been comfortable. But there was no other option. And I think I took some of these advices where it was like, okay, so I can't be David, but I can be myself, and I can be very personal. I don't have a barrier to sharing personal stuff. I can be over personal instead. And so I just went in front of the camera. I knew kind of the hooks and what we wanted to talk about. And then I just shared how it is being a 3-kid parent, feeling the stress, cooking food, having someone doing homework, and at the same time planning for the soccer training that's in 30 minutes, and just all this stress. And how do I then just feel comfortable in that moment? How can I just ignite with simple skills the feeling of being present, being there for that child, having control of the food, all of that stuff. So it just became, it was from that moment on, it's been way easier, and I've just accepted, I think, the camera.
And that dawn comfort zone. When you take a large step outside of it, something happens. You grow, exactly like you did. So obviously I went for those 2 weeks deliberately in order to force you to become more accustomed to cameras. You can thank me later. There was one tip that I learned, which I felt made a big difference for me. I will try it with you out, Lucas. If you look into that camera there. Right, this may be weird, but don't make it weird. Okay? So you're looking into the camera now, and then this photographer said to me that he has this one sentence he says to anyone he's photoing, and that is, make love to the camera. So Just think that thought and look at the camera.
Yeah, okay. Sorry.
This wasn't easy for Lucas.
No.
All right, we'll try that later then.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm not the best subject for this. Okay. So I'm okay. Yeah. Okay. Is there more instructions?
No.
Okay.
It's literally just make love to the camera. All right, later on then. Anyhow, this helped me a lot because usually you just stare into this lens, but when you look at it and you just think like, I want to make love to that lens or that camera, like just become a different entity with the thing, with the object. So you can definitely try that. That works marvelously well when it comes to photos. And just as long as you don't like go creepy, but there's a balance in everything in life. The second beautiful tip I learned was as well to hang a photo of someone you love below the camera, and then you look at that person, of course. So in this case, maybe it would be your 3 kids, like on a photo below the camera. And as soon as you look into the camera, you look at them, and then you feel something, and that feeling comes out of your facial expression and makes it more natural. And if we take that one step further, then is that you can imagine the people behind the camera. If this isn't a dead object, this reaches someone in a car somewhere, reaches somebody in a sofa by a kitchen table eating breakfast, out on their run, maybe at the gym. And when you picture that person in your head and then you look into the camera, it makes the entire thing so much more relaxed. So like a 3-step thing: make love with the camera, 2, photos under it, 3, consciously spend time imagining the people that you're reaching through the camera. And from a positive perspective then, like this will be possibly life-changing or career-changing, or will help them out in life.
I see what you mean. I am too literal.
Yeah, I know you are.
Yeah.
It didn't work with you.
No. But changing, I do have a way of having great imagination. So for me, instead of making love to the camera, pretending that the camera is actually someone that I do feel very passionate about, that I love deeply, made me forget the camera for a while. And just be happy. Yeah. I think I smiled in a different way. Yeah, I could feel it in my body.
You should go up to your wife and make love to her eyes and see how she reacts. Because the kind of facial expression you give out, it's going to be, wow, that's going to be pure love, man. It's so crazy powerful to use mental techniques like that. I'd like to share, I think, one more thing as well in regards to cameras, because I have this insane story, my friend. I was coaching a CEO, or I wasn't coaching a CEO. The HR manager of the company calls me up and say, all right, we've got this new CEO in. It's a company of 1,000 employees. It's noted on the stock exchange. So he's doing quarterly reports on video. And it's shit. He needs help. We've done 2 already, and they're so bad. He's amazing on stage, but in front of a camera, he's shit. Can you please come and help? And I go there and I look at the 2, like stage and camera, and it is shit. And I use this technique where you rewrite a rule in your brain. So for every emotional action and reaction we have rules. So we find we have a rule for happiness, for instance. It's different from human to human, but it could sound something like this. I will be happy when I'm on a holiday, my kids are happy, the sun is shining, there's a nice white beach, I got nothing to think about, and I got my favorite book. Right? So that's, for some people, that is the rule of happiness. But as soon as you go, when I'm on a holiday and my kids are shitty and it's raining and I've just read my book and there's a stomach flu going, that rule then would mean that you're not happy. You have to fulfill all of these. So I asked him what his rule was for standing in front of a camera. And it was like, as soon as I stand in front of a camera, as soon as I see that lens, as soon as I see that cameraman, I feel absolute anxiety. So his rule for anxiety was associated to a cameraman, to the like reflection in the lens. So I said, okay, let's rewrite this rule. And I explained the concept of rules and values in human beings. And he's like, absolutely accepted that. He realized that he had rules for various things like being proud, by being happy, by being anxious. So we just rewrote it. And it went like this. I will only feel anxiousness when I see a camera if it is a Sunday and it's raining inside and Ingmar Bergman, who's dead, is holding the camera. Okay? And what's weird with the human mind is that it believes literally anything. Like, just look at conspiracy theories. You know, it's just weird. You can make it believe anything. So this isn't any weirder than the average thing that you believe. So he started just repeating this rule over and over and over again. My coaching was literally for 1 hour with him. And then he had the session on Saturday. He kept repeating this. I reminded him on Friday, and I reminded him Saturday, Sunday to just keep repeating the rule. He went up and he absolutely nailed that video conference, that quarterly report, and just kept on nailing it. And he got back to me and said, works wonders. I'm now going to start rewriting my rules for other things in life. So yeah, that was another thing, that our rule associated with cameras can be off. Like if I look at your rule for your cameras, it's something like when I was in family photos and I had to look proper and there was a camera and there was just 2 pictures left in the roll, then I felt, then I would feel. That would probably be your rule at the time. Yeah.
I love that. I mean, so many rules can be rewritten. So if you have the rule, anything like this, where you picked anxiety and put it next to cameras being there are techniques to just overrule that.
Yeah. And these rules, they write themselves otherwise.
Yes, 100%. So I know many people that are listening feel discomfort in front of the camera. Are there any key mistakes that you see people do, except for having this rule? Like, are there other mistakes that people are doing that makes it so that they actually set themselves up to have discomfort in front of the camera?
Well, as with anything, you know, if you give yourself sucky preconditions to anything, it won't feel as good. Like if you meet your dream partner, like in my case, I meet my dream woman. Maybe I'm like 20 or something at the time, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to invite her to dinner at home. Okay, but when we get to my apartment, it's in a shitty neighborhood in the city. There's scary people outside. When you come in, my electricity bill is hardly working. My water was cancelled yesterday. When I'm cooking the food, halfway through, the electricity just goes. And the one candle I have turns out being one of these joke candles. You can't actually light it up. You know, it doesn't matter how awesome of a person you are. Well, it does to a certain extent, but the circumstances there won't put you into your best confident state, right? It won't. You have to be like superhuman confident in order to handle something like that. And it's the same thing in a digital situation. If you got this shitty webcam, grainy quality with this nose hair angle coming up from below, and you've prepared your presentation to do slide shares for 80% of the time, and everyone has their cameras off, you're literally setting yourself up for the same shitty situation as the person with the dream woman when he was 20. So I just say that create good circumstances for yourself, because if a 20-year-old person would have this dream date with this dream woman and everything works flawlessly, you know, nice apartment, nice candles, background music, beautiful, amazing food, of course the date will go better. So create the right circumstances.
Yes. Sorry.
Yo, friends.
He's been eating something, Emil.
He's been eating...
Ah, okay. Oh, my dog just came in the room. He had something yellow on his... Apparently chips on the floor.
Looks like he found a saffron bag or something.
Yeah. He's the bonus vacuum cleaner. It's
Yep.
very comfortable having him in the house.
Good
It's
stuff.
always clean underneath the food table for kids.
Analog robot vacuumer.
All right. When starting with digital presentations, just bringing this back, I know you felt it was quite difficult sometimes due to getting no feedback in the calls, doing digital presentations. Sometimes you want to read the audience to know if, can I drag out on this joke? Is this a good pause now? Can I do this? Things that are present in a live presentation, but suddenly removed, especially if people are turning off their cameras. So how did you overcome this? And do you have any tips for people that have this feeling of it's hard to present on camera because it's not the same in a room? I know how everything is playing out. I can own the room, but how do you own the digital room?
Yeah. I think it came to me when I realized that as long as I have fun, they have fun, right? More or less. So as long as I'm passionate, they're probably passionate. As long as I'm having fun, they're probably having fun. As long as I have high energy, they probably got high energy. All of these are more likely, right? So I ended up just focusing on that. When I do my, we do this every week, right? If I have fun, if I have high energy, if I have high passion, well, more likely they will as well. And then I just go for it. Because what life is about at the end of the day is enjoying yourself, having fun, maybe inspiring people instead of being dictated by others. So I think you're just stuck in the wrong mental state or non-optimal mental state, which is more or less like, I got to get through these slides. Are they listening? Do they care? Do they want to hear this? That will never put you into the best version of yourself.
Yeah. So is that because I know you did the one keynote, I think you knew it was 10,000 people in the audience, but you couldn't see a single person. I don't even know if you saw the chat when you did that lecture.
No, I didn't know.
No, so you saw nothing. So your focus and bringing yourself back during that entire keynote was just focusing on having fun?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Yeah. Well, it's just, you can't do anything more, right? If you're passionate, if you're having fun, if you're engaged, if you're high energy, if you're interested, damn, that's you can't do more than that. And so just go with that. And 99 times of 100, that'll work out fine. But if you're given the wrong circumstances and you're stressed and you're thinking about what everybody's thinking and what they're feeling and what their reaction is, you're in the wrong side of it. And you can compare it to a football player, I think. If you go out on the pitch and you're thinking, wonder what the people in the audience is thinking. Wonder what my fans are thinking. Wonder how they want me to play today. Would they want me to be at top or at bottom or whatever? Compared to a person who goes into the pitch and they're like, I'm gonna have fun today. I'm gonna do my best today, and not thinking about the audience, not thinking about the people booing or hurraying. It doesn't matter. Just do your best, and you will score those goals. So yeah, I'd say it's about mental state and perspective.
But I like that. It's very clear that if you're feeling discomfort, you don't know how people are reacting, and then you let that train of thought take over your performance, and you feel then the hand sweat will come, and oh no, it's the camera, and all of these bad thoughts will arise, and just lean into, make sure to give yourself the circumstances to have fun while doing this presentation, enjoy it, and that will just make things run a lot smoother.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No question about it.
I like that. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We will summarize this just shortly. But before we go into that, we have our special treat. It's the skill of the week. So I would like to ask you, David, out of the 110 step chart we do every single week, we pull out a skill and we plug it in. And we've done sounds, we've done pitch, we've done a couple of different things, and we have a new skill for people to practice this week. I'm really interested in what you're pulling out of the chart.
Yeah. I think one very interesting one is number 68. I don't know if my chart is old though. Let's have a look at the latest one.
Oh, have they switched places?
No, it is 69. This is the one. All right, 69 is horizontal movement, which literally means that you either on a stage you'd be pacing left or right or moving forwards to the end of the stage or to the far back of the stage. Yeah? All this creates clarity, it creates attention, it creates dynamics. Awesome. The beautiful thing when it comes to camera is that very small subtle horizontal movements can also make a difference. Like leaning forwards when you're saying something important, or leaning slightly backwards when you're neutralizing again. So kind of to accentuate, to underline importance of something, just lean forwards and you'll grab attention and you'll increase clarity. I just love that as a simple, small technique.
Oh, I've seen Alex do this so many times where he's, do you know what? Just leans in and there's something very special, kind of like almost a secret that he wants to tell you, and then his face just comes very close to the camera. It's playing with that a lot, and I really like it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely, and if you combine that with what Alex did there was volume decrease, pace decrease, and horizontal movement lean in, boom, then you got a nice combo. But you can just lean in as well to accentuate and underline. But
perfect.
Please combine them.
Yes. All right. Thank you. That's the skill of the week.
Skill of the week. Whoop.
Yes. All right. So today we've been talking about how to conquer confidence in front of the camera. And specifically, a lot of people have written rules, right? To allow themselves to feel discomfort in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And a really good way of just getting started with this is, you said 3 things, right? So make love to the camera, have fun, and then there was one thing.
Photo under the camera.
Photo under the camera.
Yeah. Imagine the audience. Rewrite your rule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So focus on those things and make sure that the camera is not your enemy, it's your friend. It's something that will definitely stay. COVID made us all just have to leap years in development to get to this point, but we would have ended up here eventually anyways. I mean, the world is constantly going forwards digitally. Now we have AI, we have all of these things, and we were just meant to end up here. So if you're feeling discomfort in front of camera, make sure to hit these things and get comfortable. Yes.
Go.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. It would mean the world if you give us a review, whether you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you are. Just go in and plug in a couple of stars. That means a lot to us. We've also just launched a Typeform that you can find in the show notes that will lead you to, we love questions and we love feedback. So if you have a question for the podcast that you want us to bring up, if you have feedback, you want to say, hurrah, you're awesome, love all those things, there's a Typeform that you can just click on here below and go into that to just send that in. Also, if you're interested in becoming a public speaker, if you want to fix your presentations, not just being in front of the camera, but going deep into the subject of presentations, we host a program called Presenter Mastery. There is a link to a free training below. It's called the top 3 things you need to do to become a 1% presenter. It's a webinar, a free training that we did, and the link is below. So that's a great start for you. If you haven't seen it yet, go click and check it out. That's all from me. From
us.
Yes.
Yes.
And,
Signing out.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.